what are we cooking today, Anjali?
So this is a special recipe. It's a chicken. It's a home style butter chicken.
See, now you know what to put in your mouth.
The Damn Fine Life Show.
If I were a bird, I would have wings to fly far away from this unreal world, far away to the moonlit sky.
Because I like it.
Fine Life Show.
I wrote that.
Right on top.
We're starting off with wine.
फासद की खूबी सिर्फ स्वाद के आशिक जानते हैं।
Clearly, yeah.
I'm steering away from every.
The Damn Fine Life Show.
I have couscous for that work. To do that and then to still make a busy day dish. Thank you.
पहले को enjoy किया इसने.
The Damn Fine Life Show.
कि बस
बता दो।
सीक्रेट
हम सिर्फ नमक नहीं बताएंगे, बाकी से बता दो।
The Damn Fine Life Show. The Damn Fine Life Show.
Nice trend, yeah. Okay, got it. Ready?
Damn Fine Life Show. The Damn Fine Life Show. With Rinku Madan.
Hello everyone, welcome to my show, The Damn Fine Life Show with Rinku Madan, where we bring to you fascinating conversations, journeys, sprinkled with some cooking with remarkable individuals from all walks of life. Today we step into the world of luxury marketing virtuosity, the lady who has been the creative genius behind some of the most captivating hotel campaigns. She has a flair for the extraordinary and a penchant for the lavish, and has turned dreams into reality and destinations into desires. From orchestrating glamorous soirees to crafting tantalizing tales of indulgence, she has set the standard and redefined luxury hospitality marketing. She is multi-talented, as you will soon know, from poetess to airlines to hotels and to so much more. So let's get ready for a journey to uncover the secrets behind her dazzling success and a toast to the unforgettable moments she has orchestrated. Please welcome the very fine, the very elegant, and a fabulous human being above all, Anjali Mehra, former Vice President for the Leela Palace Hotels and Resorts, and so much more. Hi Anjali.
Hi Rinku.
Finally I get you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on this show.
No,
It's
pleasure is
always
entirely
a
mine.
pleasure.
Pleasure is entirely mine. I hope everything is in order for you.
I am sure with you everything will be in order. Yes.
Wonderful. So what are we cooking today, Anjali?
So this is a special recipe. It's a chicken. It's a home style butter chicken with very little butter. And this is a recipe which has a little bit of nostalgia attached to it, because this was a recipe I had learned from my mother. She would call it a busy day butter chicken, and my children have always loved it. So I thought, why not try this
Yum.
today with you?
Yum, yum, yum. I mean, it sounds delicious, and with what you mentioned about the nostalgia, I think it will be even better. But, you know, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be cooking and chatting.
Okay.
Done? So, what pan would you, मेरे को जो समझ आया मैंने निकाल ली, whichever you like.
I'll take this, a
Okay.
nice big pan.
Okay.
And should we start?
Yeah, we should start. I will keep asking, you keep cooking.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry to make you multitask like this.
No. This is what I'm supposedly good at. We'll check it out today and
You
see.
are good at so many more things. Okay, but let's start from the beginning. Reading about you, I understood that, you know, your dad was your hero. So, he was in the army. What were your growing years like?
Yes, so my father was in the army. We never lived in the same house for more than 2 years. And so much so that I got married. And I got married. I was very clear that I wanted to marry a service officer. I wanted to be a pilot. I couldn't. So I did the next best thing,
Wow.
which was work for an airline and marry a pilot. And since he was in the Navy, my husband was a fighter pilot in the Navy, he would be posted for a slightly longer duration to a city, unlike what my father would be in the army. So every time we went on leave, I would pack the whole house, come back and unpack, just because I was not used to living in the same house for more than 2 years. That's how ingrained that became. But I think it also taught us a lot of things. I think it taught us discipline. It taught me to be more adaptable, to adjust to different circumstances. We had to move every 2 years and change schools, make new friends.
So any poem that you want to share that you
I
wrote?
don't remember. I just remember.
Whatever you remember.
Probably. Okay, the very first one, and I remember maybe the first stanza and the last stanza of it, but let me try if I remember. It was called If I Were a Bird. I mean, what does a 13-year-old, 12-year-old person write, right? So this was, it was called If I Were a Bird. If I were a bird, I would have wings to fly, far away from this unreal world, far away to the blue-lit sky. Free I would be from the chains of age that bind people to slavery, free from this bondage that makes us suffer privations in misery. There would I dwell until I cease to be all that I am or ever will be. There are a couple of more paragraphs in between which I can't remember. But
You should definitely do a book on your poems and get them
I
published
probably
now.
have to dig them out somewhere now.
You should, I hope you have them saved.
Yes, I have them saved. That was one thing my husband insisted, that we should keep them. So they're all
Absolutely.
there very much.
But where did you get this fascination of being a pilot? Because of your dad?
I don't know. I think it was probably the uniform. Maybe because we'd just grown up in that environment, and a couple of times my father was posted to places where there were Army, Navy and Air Force, all of them together. And I was somewhere in between the naval white uniform and the pilot's uniform, the overalls, and I think probably it was the fascination with that. And that's why I married a scenario pilot. Yes.
Yes. So what does your husband do?
So now he's quit the Navy. He left a couple of years ago.
He was a fighter pilot with the
He was a
Navy.
fighter pilot
Oh, wow,
with the
awesome.
Indian Navy, and he was also leading the formation aerobatic team of the Indian Navy a couple of years ago. Now he's a commercial pilot. He flies for Vistara.
Excellent. So you have been a pioneer in a lot of things of sorts when not many women were, launching stuff with airlines, play school, naval magazine.
Yeah, I would say that that was a time when not very many women were out there, doing different kinds of things or exploring what they wanted to do. I think that was a time where either you became a doctor or a teacher or an engineer, and there was nothing else beyond that. And I think that was the fascinating part of, still trying to discover what your passion is, who you wanted to be, and what you really. So my love for travel, my love for discovering new cultures, places, meeting different people, love for writing, all of that had to come together in some way. And I think sometimes you don't have to choose the path itself chooses you. But just coming back to what you said earlier, glass ceilings absolutely existed those days. When I was working for the airline, my airline was taken over by another airline. As you know, the money ran into financial crisis. It was sold to NEPC. It became Skyline NEPC. And the time had come for us to be given positions whether we stay on with the combined company or not. And while all my male counterparts in the other cities and wherever the Manya used to fly were given the role of station managers without batting an eyelid.
This is when you face gender bias.
Yes, I was told I wouldn't be given that position because I'm a woman.
Association between two of your parent groups that you work with, Marriott and Leela. How would you say the brand
Very
is
different.
What?
I think very,
How
very
did you
different.
differentiate?
So if you see Leela's
Between one Leela to the other Leela. Okay, let's talk about that.
so within the Leela you can't have a brand differentiation.
It has to be a brand in itself.
because Leela is the brand.
Okay.
The
It's
golden
a brand
threads
differentiation.
have to, and that is something we did at Leela. We tried to identify the brand unifiers, the golden threads, so to say. So if you move from one Leela to another Leela hotel, what is that consistent experience or the tangible touch points
Okay.
that make it a Leela and that you would then connect with the brand Leela? Whereas if you see a St. Regis or you see a W Hotel or you see an Edition or you see a Luxury Collection, they're all very different brands, all in the luxury space but all very different brands. They all stand for something different. And within those brands, there are unifiers. But when you put the brands against each other, then they have to be clearly differentiated.
Yeah, like W would be a more young, vibrant brand.
Yeah.
Regis would be a more luxury,
Classic luxury.
sedate. Yes, absolutely. Okay, got it. Marriott's would be a more business
Absolutely.
feel to it.
So
Leela
then
would have
also-
more luxury feel to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that would also then define, be based on your target audience and the kind of experiences you create.
Do you create these target audiences after deciding what is where you want to brand your?
I think there are two ways of looking at it. You always identify a target audience for the brand. Who do you want to be and for whom is where you start with. But there are certain brands that begin to have a life of their own. I'll tell you a very interesting story about the W Hotels. When W Hotels was created, it was not created to be in the luxury space.
Yeah.
But it was so highly differentiated and it started to resonate so beautifully with a certain set of audiences that it got pushed into luxury. Now that is how the original target audience psychographic was pretty much the same, but whether it would be luxury and the price point was not defined when it was created. It just got pushed there because it was so well received and was so relevant.
Is W a luxury hotel all across the world or just in India?
No, all across the world.
All across
W
it is
is
now
a
a
luxury
luxury
brand.
brand.
Yes.
Excellent.
So, I enjoy cooking. I think I was very fond of baking more than cooking other things. And this again came from the fact that you were in the services and you were posted to places where you would not get a lot of things and you had to find ways and means of making everything at home. So it started with baking cakes. I also have a recipe for a busy day chocolate cake. A lot of it is busy day because in the services you are entertaining so much and you work the whole day and you come back and suddenly you have
You're not in the
20
mood to
people
cook.
coming over for dinner, so you have all of those
A
kind
lot
of
of
things.
gamers do that and then still like a busy day.
Yeah, no, this one is very easy. Like you can see, you just put everything and then you let it dry. And now we just add a little bit of butter to it.
But like
Roast it a little.
what were the key strategies you implemented to elevate the marketing, presence of the Leela amongst all these brands which are, growing?
I think with Leela, the mandate was very clear when the mandate, when I joined Leela, the mandate was very, very clear that we have to preserve what the brand really stands for. And I think there was never a doubt. We needed to preserve what Captain Iyer had so beautifully and so lovingly created. And from there, we needed now to take that story, make it more tangible, see what kind of experiences and touch points we could create. Again, there if you see, the Leela uses a lot of flowers, In fact, two brands that I've really, or maybe three brands that I've really seen using a lot of flowers is Four Seasons, Peninsula Hotels and Leela. And I remember walking into a Leela hotel and I saw these silver urns, massive silver urns which would have roses. We used to call them the urn of 1,000 roses. And I always wondered what would happen to these flowers. I love flowers. But what really scared me was what would happen to these flowers 2 days later, 3 days later when they wither. And that kept gnawing at me that we should find a useful way of converting these flowers into something at the end of life. And then I was also a consumer of food and a huge admirer of what Ankit has done with this brand. And I was using the pool incense sticks. It took me 1 year to find Ankit and get an appointment with him. And then when I spoke with him and I told him, would you help us upcycle the flowers into incense sticks? He loved the idea and he came on board.
It was really nice.
And
Giving back,
yeah.
absolutely.
So I think from today more and more travelers are wanting to travel with intent and purpose.
Absolutely, sustainability and being conscious about.
Yeah. And they want to know, not just they're not traveling to a destination just to see and discover the destination. They're also traveling there to see what impact their travel has on the destination. So when you go back to them and you tell them this is what you're doing. In fact, right now we have the Chelsea Flower Show happening in London.
Yes.
And as part of the Chelsea Gala bag, you have the pool incense sticks of Leela in that bag.
How lovely.
And the idea there was, again, that's a source market, a key source market for the brand. And in that source market, why not take a little touch point of the brand and educate people as to what we're doing. So this is now almost done. We're going to add the tomatoes. You can serve it like this, also dry if you like, but we'll add the tomatoes.
And this becomes like a tandoori chicken.
Yeah.
Busy day tandoori chicken.
Busy day tandoori chicken, which almost cooks on its own.
But what trends in luxury hospitality do you foresee shaping, the industry in the near future?
I think one of the biggest trends is sustainability.
Yes.
That I think as people become more and more conscious.
High time.
Yeah.
Look at what is happening to the world.
Yes. And it is something that is not a choice anymore.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
is something that we have gone are the days when we brag about the fact that we've replaced our plastic bottles and we've put glass bottles.
Yes.
I think that's the least that we can do. We have to step beyond it and see what else we can do. And how are we making a difference to society. I think translating that into actual guest experiences is more difficult. It's easier to launch something and say, oh, we've done that, but how do guests participate in something like this and become a part of the story of the brand?
Yes.
So I think that is definitely a trend. I think it's also the YOLO effect, you only live once kind of an effect, which is people want an experience that nobody else has had. How do you make them feel that this experience is only for you and not for anybody else?
I mean, conscious luxury is, I think, a better word for today's
Absolutely.
traveler.
Absolutely.
It's not just, luxury and, of course, there are people, and Delhi is the best example where a lot of wastage, people, I don't want to say that, but yeah. But what advice would you give to aspiring marketing professionals aiming to excel in the luxury hospitality segment, based on your fabulous
I think for
experience?
marketing professionals, I would say just be true to your brand. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Choose who you want to be and to whom, and then figure out how and what is the best way. Also to marketing professionals, what I would say is, and this is something which there is a gentleman called Mark Adams who's considered a marketing guru, and you should really hear him when he speaks. I've attended a few, Mark is a friend, and I've attended a few live sessions
Mark
with
is
him.
in M-A-R-K or M-A-R-C?
M-A-R-K.
Mark
M-A-R-K
Adams.
Adams. He's based in London. He was the founder of Vice Media. What Mark says is that imagine a football field, and you are all players, and there is a ball, and when the ball goes in one direction, all players run after the ball. And then the ball goes into a different direction and everybody runs after that. And as marketers, we are those footballers. You know, today it's Snapchat, tomorrow it's Instagram, then it's Threads, then it's something else. And we are all running after that. By doing that, what we are losing sight of is the goalpost.
Yes.
Where is the goalpost? Your aim is that your ball needs to go through the goalpost and not just keep running around the ball. So what he says is, and I thought that analogy was really good, that keep our focus on the goal and where we want to be and how do we get there. Let's focus on that, and everything else is a distraction.
Okay.
Don't get carried away by today something is working well, let's try it. Absolutely. But don't
lose your focus.
Don't lose your focus. I think generally I would say to anybody who is looking not just for a career in the hospitality industry, but overall my advice would be follow your heart, do what you really believe in doing, love what you do and do what you love. Everything else will fall into place.
Yes, always follow your heart. So I'm going to ask you some fun questions, just short, rapid ones.
Like simple ones, tough ones.
Because I like you.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the most extravagant request you have received from a guest? Or a bizarre, okay, let's make it bizarre. Or you can tell me both.
See, we don't, I mean, as marketers, we are very much behind the scenes. We are not front end.
But you must be
things.
like...
Yeah, we interact with guests. But
or getting to hear of it that this is what happened today. Or...
Yeah, I don't know. I probably have to think through this. I can't think of it offhand.
Okay.
I think guests have been very reasonable, in my opinion. I don't think there has been anything that that has been that bizarre that we've not been able to
No
make
guest
it happen.
stands out in your memory for...
Lots of guests stand out.
Yeah, for being, okay, outrageous. Nobody. Only good guests.
Yeah, all good guests.
Okay, and he is being very diplomatic,
Yeah.
but we will...
No,
get it
really,
out.
all
You don't
good.
have to name the guest. We don't want names. Okay, we need this. So, what is luxury to you?
I think luxury means different things to different people.
For you?
To me, it means to be able to enjoy the things that matter to you in your own time and space, when you want it and how you want it. I think that for me is luxury. Whether it's time, whether it's reading a book, whether it's just dipping your feet in water and watching the clouds go by.
That's
Doesn't
pure
matter.
luxury.
That is pure luxury.
Absolutely. And what emotions do you associate with luxury?
I think plenty of emotions. I think one is pure joy. I think luxury needs to make you feel special and happy, and a little bit of indulgence.
Yes.
But the fact that somebody cares for you and has taken the trouble to carefully craft and
Yes.
curate something
Make
for
you feel special.
that
Yes.
make you feel special. That level of personalization, I think, is important. Is an important emotion that we should be able to.
Okay.
I think there needs to be a tug at your heart that then keeps bringing you back to the brand. That is important.
And what would you say is the impact of social media on luxury?
I think social media is just a tool. It's a channel, which is a channel for communication. And social media allows you to connect with a set of audiences to whom social media is more socially wired. I would say other than that, it's not something that we need to take so seriously. And one doesn't have to do things for the sake of the gram. I think that's a trend that we should stay away from. It's just another tool. Like we used to have traditional print PR, and then it went to digital PR, and then it
It's
went
just
to
something which
billboards.
is today.
It is today. It's relevant.
Tomorrow will be something else.
Yeah.
Book on your bedside. I know you read a lot.
Currently, I'm reading a book by Namita Gokhale. It's called The Never Never Land. In fact, Namita, as you know, is one of the founding directors of Jaipur Literature Festival. And when she came to know that I was taking a break from work, she sent me 3 books to read, and this is one of them.
Lovely. Saris or dresses?
Saris, always. Around the world, wherever I have travelled, I have always
Worn
flaunted
saris.
my saris, and I'm very proud of saris. I love
You
saris.
wear them so well.
I just love them, so
I don't even know how to tie one. I know I shouldn't be very proud about that. So Delhi, Middle East or Goa?
Goa.
Goa? Yeah, I
Goa
don't blame
is
you.
my first love, and always will be.
3 things you don't like about the hospitality fraternity.
I don't think there's anything that I don't like about it.
Listen,
I
you
just-
can't be diplomatic on
I've
every
spent-
answer.
I've spent
You can say some men,
my
you can say some people.
My
you can
blood
say off the
group
record.
is H positive, hospitality. So I think it's an industry that has just given me so much that I wouldn't have been here 37 years if I didn't like it.
No, any 3 things which you feel that in your journey you have felt that, oh, this is not good.
No,
Nothing. Okay.
I don't think there has been anything. I just would like to see more women on the top. That's it.
The most fun thing you have done of late?
Got my daughter married.
Yes. If there was one thing you could change about your job?
I don't have a job right now, but I think it's a lot about changing something about myself than my job. I get so passionately and deeply and emotionally involved with what I do that sometimes I forget to take a breather and take a step back. So it's not that the job is demanding it, it's more
Just that you
I
get emotionally involved
Yeah.
with that.
So that is something I need to change about myself, not so much about the job.
Airlines or hotels?
Difficult because both of them are special to me, but I think hotels now.
One movie that you could watch over and over again?
Top Gun,
Top Gun.
both 1 and 2.
If you were to invite 3 people for dinner, who would they be? And why?
Living?
Living, dead? Anything. Celebrities, normal people.
George Clooney, for sure.
Oh, please
No.
give me a high five on that.
Right on top.
Yes, George Clooney.
Another 2 people. Okay, I also think Narendra Modi.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know more about him as a person than the Prime Minister that we know. So
Good answer.
maybe Narendra Modi would be 2.
Yes.
And the third one, अभी third भी बुलाना है किसी को? ये
हाँ.
2 इतने interesting हैं.
Okay, if you can think of, otherwise we can let it be.
हाँ, 2 ही ठीक है.
Okay.
2 को बुलाना.
Okay, sure. No problem. Yeah, the best piece of advice you've been given.
I was given an advice by one of my general managers once, which was that I need to learn to cut the umbilical cord. And I think that goes back to what I said earlier, that I get so emotionally attached with the work that I do and the brands that I work for that it's very difficult for me to take a step back and move away. And he said this to me when I was moving from a hotel-based job to the corporate office, because I would naturally gravitate towards that particular hotel for everything that was required. And he said to me, learn to cut the umbilical cord. And I think that was very, very wise. And I've tried to follow it, but I haven't been very successful.
Okay. Your favorite way to relax?
Holiday. So read a book, just listen to music, spend time with the family.
What kind of music do you like?
I like music which sounds good to the ears, so very, very relaxing type of music. I don't like the
Like what? Lata Mangeshkar era? Like
Yeah,
what do you listen to?
I love
Which is your
old
favorite
songs.
Which is your favorite song?
Ajib Dastan.
Ah,
That's
yes.
my all-time favorite
I have
song.
a feeling that you sing well.
No, I
You
don't.
have such a beautiful
No, I
voice.
don't. Not at all. Singing is something I don't do well at all. I can't sing at
Okay,
all. I wish I
okay.
could, but I can't.
Okay, so this is 5-second rule. In 5 seconds you have to give the answer.
Okay.
Okay, that's the outer limit. The 5-second rule, you have to answer it within 5 seconds.
Okay.
And you will not be given any more chances.
Okay.
3 things you can't go without.
3 things I can't do without. So one is my kajal.
Hmm.
I absolutely need my kajal. I can't do without that. The second one is the keys to my house in Goa, which I always carry with me because my husband calls it my doll house. And I've told the whole family, if you can't find me anywhere, you know where I will be, that's fine. And the third thing is my husband. I think he's been my biggest support. I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been for me. He's been my biggest cheerleader. And he's the one who's always encouraged me, and today it's also the children who do that, but I think him, yes.
Absolutely. 3 foods that describe you.
Foods.
Yes.
I don't really know if there are foods that describe me. I mean, I love food for sure, but I would say coconut.
Okay, hard from the outside.
Yeah,
tender from the
sometimes
inside?
I do come across as very hard, but I'm not that hard. I think an onion. You really have to get to know me and
To know the real. Okay.
to understand me. Will do.
Okay. Okay. 3 animals that describe you.
I'm a dog lover. Of late, I've become a cat lover also. We've always had dogs in our house, and now we have a beautiful cat whom we absolutely adore. And I hate snakes. So one thing I cannot stand is snakes.
So, it's a wrap for today, and this was so beautifully done. Anjali, you know, has been more than dear to me for, like she mentioned, for more than a decade and a half, and has always, like I said, you know, there's so much to learn from her. She is genuinely, like I always call her, a very, very fine human being. So, thank you, Anjali. Thank you for being here. Thank you for.
Thank you, Rinku.
No worries.
That was so wonderful, and thank you for being nice to me and not asking me the really tough questions.
No.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
And always wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.